people just sick as a dog. So we had that program going on, and then we had Katrina, and that was very clear, that there really isn't any help out there. The people that we've entrusted to take care of us and help us are just really out for themselves. And if you haven't seen that by now with these lessons, there's something really wrong with this picture. It's like there's no one home. And, if we are going to run around like robots and brainwashed and just, going to our little cubicles and punching in our numbers and then going home and staring into a boob tube with a beer and a pizza, basically you're not going to know what I'm talking about, and that's fine. You'll have your wake-up call. But I know there's a lot of people that don't even have their TV anymore, and they don't have their house, and they don't have their SUV, and they don't have anything. And it's because they weren't listening. They weren't paying attention. So, the thing about if you work for these mega corporations, they really care nothing about your well-being, and that's been very clear. They've made that very clear in their actions. So you've got that program, and now we have, Gulf oil spill. Now, if you miss this one, there's no hope. If you haven't figured this one out, I mean, these people killed an ocean. They actually killed this reckless greed program that they're running, actually reached its apex, and they actually killed an ocean. And if you think that's not the case, I really want you to look at the water samples that were taken there. They're 150 times more toxic than it takes to kill the fish. So along with the oil and the core exit that they're spraying there, which is 11 times more toxic than the oil itself, just to sink the oil so nobody can see it, you add those two things together, and basically what you have is the biggest toxic dumping ground on the planet. And, porpoises, whales, all the sea life there are dying. And what's sad is these bird rescues and everything else just don't work. They might as well just, euthanize them, because even though they clean the oil off, they die of blood poisoning or other things later. So the toxics, the toxic buildup is already there. But, turtles, everything, are going. But, not to create a doom and gloom picture, but unfortunately humanity needed something like this, as an oily slap in the face, a wake-up call. That was the only way that humanity is going to get the picture and figure this one out. So, if we don't figure this one out, God help us, because if everybody isn't paying attention on this one and haven't seen, what's going on, I know the news is totally filled with disinformation. We're going to clean this up. It's going to be better tomorrow. All these future fulfillment promises that they're giving. And, it's just, there's no way. It's not going to be better tomorrow. It's going to take quite a few tomorrows. It's going to take years and years and years to clean up this mess. So anyway, that, if we haven't learned our lessons by now, and we haven't figured out who's running the show, another good one is the Senate hearings where they blocked all inquiries into the Gulf spill and actually who was responsible for it and how it unfolded, and just like the 911 hearings as well. So basically, you're going to find the same people involved with all this. You'll find the same names, the same companies, and they're making windfall, profits at the expense of humanity, Earth, and all the while we're losing our God-given rights. Our constitutional rights are just going down the drain. So basically, follow the money. If you see the same people, the same companies involved, figure it out. That's what's going down. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put the dots together. So anyway, I'm just praying that people wake up soon and just finally make a decision, because even our Senate is showing that they blocked all inquiries as to even to stop this, to make sure this doesn't happen again. That just shows you they're all controlled. We don't have a voice anymore. If you think we have a voice, in our government, you're you've got some huge blinders on. And, if we have another charismatic, sweet-talking guy stand up there and tell us that, they're going to fix all this and they're going to take care of all this and everything. Well, guess what? You've had about 30 or 40 of those in a row. So, every time you turn around, you see some guy, some politician up there saying, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to do it, we're taking care of you and everything else. You look, he's got his hand behind him with, BP or one of these other major corporations just throwing, big wads of cash in there. And then nothing gets done. So anyway, that's the story. But it's an old story. It's been going on and on and on. And I know some people, I'm probably boring you with this one, but we need to be bored a bit until we get up and do something. But anyway, that's some of the things I wanted to cover. But the good news is that, the Hopi prophecies talked about this. They said that the seas would turn black. And when I read that prophecy, I go, how are the seas going to turn black? I always figured some huge meteor was going to come in and explode, with iron oxide. And, the Bible said the seas will turn red. And I said, well, maybe the Bible's right, and the seas will turn red, and they just looked dark, to the Hopi or something. But, I didn't put two and two together that there would be this massive oil spill, because I never in my, life thought anybody would be that lame as to drill that deep into the Earth's core and, and basically hit a volcano and unleash it, with 100,000 PSI, knowing they couldn't control it. I just can't imagine anybody doing something like that to a planet. And that's the sad thing, is a lot of us can't imagine people doing acts like this and, 911 and things like that. We just can't imagine that could have been an inside job, or we just can't imagine that people would actually throw families out in the street and take their homes away. And, we just can't imagine that there would be souls that just care nothing for you, your family, for life. They're just reckless greed. All they care about is that dollar and that power that they think that dollar brings them. And we have to wake up and realize there are people like that. There are people that look you straight in the eye and lie, and there's nobody home in there. And the sad thing is they've been lying for so long, it's natural for them. And they are so separate from their soul that they can throw you out of your house in a heartbeat, or take a life, or take one of your kids' life. It doesn't matter. These people are real. They do exist. So, a lot of the spiritual stuff I hear all the time saying, well, if you're seeing it, you're creating it, it's your world, whatever. Basically, if I die tomorrow, this is probably going to still be going on. And it was going on before I was born. So I don't really accept that reality, other than, we all have a little bit of that. We've all sold out. We're all willing participants in this program. And we have to own up to that. We've, little by little, we've sold out on our integrity and our courage. And we've lost that soul and spirit connection. And, that I do agree. I myself will agree. I am not all that I could be. I wish I was more connected. I wish I could wave my hand and make all this go away. But, and that I was some major superhero with amazing cleanup powers, where I could fly over the Gulf and just, take all the oil away. And which goes into another story. People are asking why the ETs aren't coming in and just cleaning up this massive mess. And, they didn't make the mess. And it's not their lesson. It's not their program. And so, because of this, we are going to have some very, very hard lessons. And hopefully we will stop, drilling these mindless holes into the Earth's core as deep as they are, and stop drilling out in the ocean, and hopefully get off oil altogether, because we don't need it. We haven't needed oil for fuel since, the 30s, maybe even before that. Who knows? But I know the Germans had the fuelless energy a long, long time ago. And, they've been back engineering programs for quite a while. They have I think they have anti-gravity, counter-gravity. They've got fuelless energy. They've got, you name it. I mean, we have all the technology we need to clean up this planet.